How would you like to see a gentleman's folder with a unique design element that you just don't see very often? Don't go away. I'm going to show it to you right now. Hey, I'm Jay, and if you use or collect pocket knives like I do, or maybe you're still just trying to find that ever-elusive grail knife, go ahead and click on subscribe so I can help you find it. You should be looking at the specs right now, so those of you interested, you may want to pause and read. This is the Kizer Matanzas, and according to Wikipedia, that name actually means massacre, and it also happens to be a province in Cuba. Why don't we go ahead and just knock out those size comparisons, and I'm going to start out with one of my favorite gentleman folders, the Kizer Beg Lighter. And of course, we gotta throw the Para 2 into the mix. And let's see, ooh, how about this one? The Cold Steel American Lawman. And let's do one more. How about the Kershaw Skyline? First, we're going to talk about what I like about the Kizer Matanzas, and then we'll get into some of the potential deal breakers that I see. This is a relatively new design for 2018, and I have to tell you, the first thing that really caught my eye was its very slim and compact design. I mean, there is very little, look at it from this perspective, you can see there's very little blade exposed when the knife is closed. I really like that because there's a lot less blade to get potentially scratched up. Now, if you look at this side, this scale, you can see it's carbon fiber and titanium, but notice the seamless transition it is from that carbon fiber to the titanium. I mean, you cannot feel a gap, a seam, a line, nothing. So very, very well done. The flipper, it's gone. Yep, this one hides the flipper within the handle once it's deployed. Now, not many knives like this that you see very often, and because I'm the process of making this and designing it can't be easy, and the only knives that I have in my collection that hide the flipper tab as well once it's deployed, of course, the Kizer Velox 2 and the Spyderco Domino. Now you can see a little bit of the flipper sticking out of the Domino, but for the most part you can tell that that flipper is concealed as well within the handle. The next feature that I really like about this is going to be the blade shape. Just look at that. Just a really good looking drop point, and yeah, you can see it does have a fuller on both sides, yeah, and it does pretty much travel all the way across throughout the entire blade. Now, the action is really, really good, and that's going to be for two reasons. Well, it's a ball bearing pivot, and the detent is crazy strong. Nope, cannot shake it open there. Upside down, cannot shake it open there either. Now, if the blade, I truly believe if this blade was a little bit heavier, I truly believe that it would drop shut. But you see, it is still possible, but you just have to kind of give it a little shake and bake. the whole time. The blade thickness, 3.5 millimeters. Very, very thick for a gentleman's folder. Look at these access ramps. That makes it very easy to get at the lock bar. So I thought that was great. Let's check the centering. Oh yeah, look at that. Dead on. There are no sharp edges anywhere on this handle. I mean, everything that should be rounded off is very, very comfortable. Notice there's only just the 2 body screws, so just keeps a nice clean appearance. I'm glad they decided not to like put a screw right through the center here. I hate when knives do that. The clip. Now it is just going to be the one position, tip up for righties only, but I do like this clip design. It's just a nice change from the milled clips. The weight, 3.96 ounces. Very good. And now the price. The price that I had obtained this for was about $175 on Amazon. Now, I was lucky enough to find it on sale. I will include the link in the description, or I'll pin a comment. Hopefully, if you like this knife, you'll be able to get one at that price as well. Before we get into my potential deal breakers, I just want to quickly remind you to click on that subscribe button if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. And now I have previously reviewed the knives that I was just showing you a little bit ago, the Kizer VLOX 2. If you click up here in the corner, you'll be able to watch my full review on this and on the Kizer bed lighter as well. Now, unfortunately, we do have to get into some of the deal breakers because there are sadly a few. And the first one I'd like to point out is going to be regarding the lock bar. Now, keep in mind, I'm a left-handed individual, so anytime when I'm deploying a knife, my thumb is going to be on the locking side. Now, if I am to place just the slightest amount of pressure on this lock bar, I am unable to deploy the blade, which I've noticed sometimes leads to individuals incorrectly thinking that the detent is too strong, or that the flipper is just poorly designed. But I don't feel has either of those problems. It's really just that you cannot have any pressure on the lock bar at all. Now, one solution that might have helped prevent this problem would be a longer pocket clip, because what that would do is then kind of provide a platform for your thumb, for your fingers. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I do love a smaller clip, but I just think that here, a little bit longer, oh yeah, that really would have helped. I mean, because there is not much room at all on the scales, you know, to hold on to the knife. Next potential deal breaker could be for some the blade finish. Yeah, it is a bead blast, which they decided to go with on this design. Now, in the unlikely event that maybe you get a spot of rust on here, if you use one of those rust erasers on a bead blast finish, that's bad. because it will wear away some of that coating, and it'll just be obvious that something happened there. So I have to say, I mean, for myself, I'm more of a fan of maybe like a stone wash, but still, I mean, still, it does not affect the operation of the knife. I mean, it still looks good. It's just some people might not prefer the bead blast. The price. Now, I did mention I was able to find this for $175 on Amazon. However, the retail price that I have seen on other websites has been around $200, $198 to be specific. And that's, I don't know, that's a lot. It really is. $175? Oh, that would be just incredible. Lots of value. $198? That just leaves me feeling a little less comfortable about dropping that kind of money. So now, do I think you should go out and buy yourself Matanzas? Whew, that's not easy to answer. I guess if you're left-handed, I would have to say no, I would not. But if you're in the market for a very classy gentleman's folder, then absolutely. This knife has a lot going for it. And you know what? I can't help but wonder if this would be a little better if it was a liner lock, specifically a inset liner lock. So to keep that, well, to keep the handle thin. I mean, this is a really good, well-designed gentleman's folder. It's just from a lefty's perspective. I mean, all of that stuff together, the small flipper, the very sensitive lock bar, the lack of platform for the thumb, and on top of that, the strong detent. I mean, it just, for me, it does make it just a little bit difficult at times to deploy the blade.